Hi, everybody. It's Christine, and I'm here again to bring you the staff devotional for today. I have a habit of keeping cards that people have sent me. Christmas cards, birthday cards, get well cards, thank you cards, just say hello cards. And I keep them in a filing cabinet in my home. And I had an occasion to get in that filing cabinet looking for a different document the other day. And I saw those cards down in that drawer, and I thought, I'm just going to look through those again. I do that occasionally. And as I did, I was again struck with the realization of how such an impact a thing as a greeting card can make. In viewing each one, I silently thanked the sender for thinking of me, for being so kind to take the time to send me a meaningful word of encouragement or wisdom. Even something as simple as "I'm thinking of you" caused my heart to feel such immense gratitude. And my appreciation for the sender was rekindled, and the thankfulness for their presence in my life was again renewed. And at one point, I became so overcome with emotion, I just had to stop and just take a break because they meant so much to me reviewing that. I'm sure the senders of those cards never once thought of the great impact that they would have on me. I know in sending those cards, they weren't meaning to cause life-changing events in my life. They were just caring people. And to them, it was probably a little thing. But to me, it was much because God was in it. And He knew I needed to read the messages again. I'm so glad that I saved cards. I think we all need to be reminded every now and then that we're loved, we're appreciated, and what we do really does matter. The, quote, little stuff matters more than we could ever imagine. When we love, we are loved much more in return. When we give, we are given more than we could ever imagine. When we rejoice with someone, our joy is magnified. And when we grieve with someone, our mourning unites us and gives us strength and gives strength to those who suffer. That connection is vital. In the Bible, it isn't difficult to find illustrations of the, what I call, little is much principle. We see it in proof in 1 Kings when the widow who was at her wit's end, she was getting ready to fix her last meal for her son and herself and die. And she gave her last portion to Elijah, and God multiplied that many times over. We see it in John with the little boy's lunch of the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and how Jesus multiplied that to feed thousands. We see it in Luke, where the woman only gave 2 mites, but Jesus said she gave more than any of the others. And what about in Judges, where Gideon won a great battle with only using 300 men instead of thousands? All these are reminders that when God is with us and we are in His will, small and even insignificant actions and resources can accomplish great things. There's a not so well-known hymn that was written in 1924 by Kitty Louise Suffield that I think addresses the mindset that we don't have very much to offer. And the hymn title is "Little is Much When God is in It." It's typically used with missions in mind, but I think it's quite appropriate for everyday, anywhere, any person consideration. You can find this hymn on YouTube. A great version of it is by Wes Hampton of the Gaither Vocal Band. If you just go to YouTube and search that, I know you'd be able to find it. For copyright reasons, I cannot play it here, but I can tell you the lyrics, and they go like this. In the harvest field now ripened, there's a work for all to do. Hark, the voice of God is calling, to the harvest calling you. Little is much when God is in it. Labor not for wealth or fame. There's a crown and you can win it if you go in Jesus' name. In the mad rush of the Broadway, in the hurry and the strife, tell of Jesus' love and mercy. Give to them the word of life. Does the place you're called to labor seem so small and little known? It is great if God is in it. He will not forget his own. Are you laid aside from service, body worn from toil and care? You can still be in the battle, in the sacred place of prayer. When the conflict here is ended and our race on earth is run, he will say, if we are faithful, welcome home, my child. Well done. Little is much when God is in it. Labor not for wealth or fame. There's a crown and you can win it if you go in Jesus' name. Throughout the Bible, we see again where God takes the little, the ordinary, common things and uses them to accomplish much. One slingshot and one tiny rock. The little boy's lunch, the 2 mites. You could probably do an entire study series on the little is much subject. I think that's the point of this hymn. The Lord takes ordinary people with our less than perfect lives and works in us and through us to accomplish much. Now, right away, I know what you're thinking. You know how I know? Because I think the same way. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not needed or wanted. Oh, Susie Q could do that so much better than I could. Or I don't have anything to offer. Sound familiar? I want to draw attention to the 3rd and 4th verses of this song. The 3rd verse speaks to the place in which we are working. Does the place you're called to labor seem so small and little known? It is great if God is in it. He will not forget his own. Do you ever feel like what you're doing is not important because you're not the pastor or the supervisor or the group leader, so you feel less important? Nothing could be further from the truth. My position here at AVPC causes my name to be kind of out there, so to speak. It's plastered all over the church website. It's on the bulletin. I mean, it's just everywhere. But there is no way I could execute the duties of my position well without the help and support of other staff members whose name you hardly see. They may seem small and little known, but God sees their dedication and the work they do, and he does not forget their service. Altadena is blessed with a large portion of our congregation being considered what is elderly. And I love the fact that I have so many people around me that can serve as examples of wisdom, compassion, and service. But some of you are shut in or maybe less mobile than you used to be. Being out and about is difficult and sometimes impossible for you. Teaching a Sunday school class or singing in the choir is beyond what you can handle. And if you're in this group, you might be asking, how can I still labor for Christ? And that brings us to verse 4. Are you laid aside from service, body worn from toil and care? you can still be in the battle, in the sacred place of prayer. What about the ministry of prayer? You can be active in the youth group, children's church, or any other group within this church simply by praying for them. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. All you do is pray. And how much those of us who are on the front line, so to speak, need the support of faithful prayer warriors. That is a little thing, but what a great service for God and for us. And while I'm on the subject, I want to remind you that we have a corporate prayer service this coming Sunday night, June the 7th, in Altadena Park, and it starts at 6:30. And I encourage you to come and attend that. But even if you can't come, you can pray right where you are. So let me close by issuing just 2 things for you to think about. Can you think of some common or simple things in your own life that could be used for the Lord right now that are sitting dormant? You're not using them. Would you be willing to explore those areas to see how they could be used to serve your church, your community, your family? Are there men and women in your acquaintance who are serving the Lord faithfully in some unrecognized way? And would you take the time to write them a card of thanks and encouragement? God gives big opportunities to do little things. And let's use those opportunities wisely. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later.